Let me begin by thanking Mr. Peter Hollingworth, the Honourable former Governor-General of Australia. I feel so honoured to be introduced by such a person with so high social ranks. Really feel honoured. Thank you, Mr. Hollingworth. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a long-awaited meeting. It was postponed 2 months ago simply because we all believed then that the impact of the global financial crisis was not clear. Unfortunately, I would say the situation today is still not clear, though there had been many changes since then. And this perhaps makes our today's meeting more necessary and significant. Why? Because I think we all agree that we need to talk to each other, share our views and thoughts in difficult times. With this in mind, before touching on anything serious, let me express my thanks to our host today, the World Business Forum, particularly to my friend Ray, sitting over there. I know he has been busy for days for this wonderful gathering. And also, I feel privileged and honored to have the chance to address this very distinguished crowd, including a lot of good friends sitting at the head table. Ms. Toni Ferguson from ACBC. She is the Executive Director. Hope I'm getting your title correctly. Ben Foskett. I know my good friend, he is also a state official and also the Vice President or Deputy Vice President of ACBC. And also Mr. Ken Smith, a good friend. He is also heading the China group in the State Legislative Assembly. Mr. Fisher, the real official from the DCAF, right? DFAT, not DCAF, DFAT, Department of Foreign Trade and Foreign Affairs and Trade, and the State Office. And also the Honorable Consul General from Japan, who I met virtually every day in various social functions. Well, I also noticed there are many familiar faces from the Chinese community and also the Australian various social sectors. But for time's sake, I'm not going to name one by one. Please forgive me. My speech basically consists of 3 parts, and I will start with the impact of financial crisis on Chinese economy first. Then I will move on to talk how China responded to it. And lastly, I'll be talking a little bit about China-Australian business relations at this critical moment. First, the impact of the crisis on Chinese economy. The ongoing world financial crisis started in the US, hit the international financial market first, but is now impacting so strongly and so negatively on the real economy of many countries all over the world. Both China and Australia are of no exception, of course. It is generally believed that the crisis has not yet hit the bottom, and it is hard to predict what further damages it may bring about in coming days. The current crisis has already inflicted a rather big impact on China's economy. We are facing severe challenges, including, notably, shrinking external demand, overcapacity in some sectors, difficult business conditions for Chinese enterprises, rising unemployment in urban areas, and a great downturn pressure on the nation's economic growth. As a result, China's economic growth has slowed down, with its GDP dropping from 9% annually to 6.8% in the last quarter of the year 2008. And according to the latest statistics, China's trade in the first months of the year 2009 fell by 29%, imports down by 43%. Though the price fall on commodities might have contributed somehow to the decline of imports, yet it clearly shows the domestic demand has contracted sharply. According to the latest report, foreign direct investment to China dropped 33% in January of this year, which also means a negative growth of FDI to China for the past 4 consecutive months. Now, despite all these bad news, however, I must say China's economy on the whole is still in good shape. On this particular point, I wish to remind all of you that don't expect me to have too many good news for you. Or don't place too much unrealistic high hope on Chinese economy. We managed to maintain a steady and a relatively fast economic growth in the year 2008, despite 2 unexpected massive natural disasters. Our GDP grew by 9%, as I said. CPI was basically stable, and we had a good grain harvest for the 5th consecutive years, with a total output of 528.5 million tons. And more than 11 million new jobs were created in cities and towns. Household income in both urban and rural areas continued to rise, and the financial system functioned well, and the banking system kept its liquidity and credit asset quietly at a healthy level. Credit asset quality at a healthy level. Now, having said that, I would like to move on to talk a little bit about what China has done and will do to minimize the negative impact of the crisis. In view of the crisis, the Chinese government has acted decisively, and we have timely adjusted our microeconomic policy, promptly introduced 10 major measures to expand domestic demand, and formulated a series of related policies. Together, they all have constituted a comprehensive stimulus package plan, which features 1, more government spending and a tax cut for business and household. To boost domestic reconstruction, the Chinese government has put forward a 2-year investment plan involving a total of 4 trillion yuan. This is in Chinese currency, RMB we usually say, equivalent to 16% of China's GDP in the year 2007. These money will be mainly used for government-subsidized housing, projects related to the well-being of the rural residents, infrastructure projects, including railway building, social development programs, ecological and environmental protection, post-earthquake reconstruction. The Chinese government has also launched a massive tax cut program characterized by the comprehensive transformation of the value-added tax, the adoption of preferential tax policies for small and medium-sized enterprises, and real estate transactions. And there has also been the abolition or suspension of more than 100 items of administrative fees. This would help save business and household of renminbi 500 billion yuan every year. Second, to implement a large-scale industrial restructuring and upgrading scheme. Now, we strongly believe that a comprehensive industrial restructuring and upgrading of key industries, such as automobile, iron and steel, is vitally important to China's long-term development.